There's more than one avenue to becoming a successful snake breeder, but regardless of how you get there, there are always tools that will help you along the way and make that task much more achievable and get you to your goal. So today we're going to talk about the top 5 tools that I think you need to be a successful snake breeder. My name is Riley Jimson. Thank you for joining me this week. Let's do this. Going to be my buddy WP over here. He's a well-known blockhead popwind carpet who's a studly sire, great breeder of mine, and all-around wonderful ambassador for the species. But he is going to help me keep this visual a little less monotonous here. But today, the first tool that I'm going to talk about, number 5, we're going to count from the bottom. The 5th most important tool that I think you need to be a successful snake keeper are feeding tongs and hemostats. Whatever style you like, have a lot of them if you can. You never know when a snake's going to grab onto some, especially if they have rubber tips like these guys. You can have some small ones for little guys, or if you work with big snakes, you can get some of these big old grabbers that you can hold rabbits and things with. But one way or another, you don't want snakes accidentally grabbing your fingers. So starting at the bottom of my top 5 list here, the 5th most important tool are feeding tongs or hemostats or some sort of feeding grabbing apparatus to keep your hands safe. Number 4 on my list of your top 5 most important tools to have in order to be a successful snake breeder is a snake hook or several. So there are many companies that you can get these. You can make them yourself with old golf clubs. Tongs.com is Midwest Tongs. Make little hooks like this. There's even smaller ones. This is a great one for smaller neonate pythons. A friend of mine and mentor, Todd Dyer, made me this one. This is my go-to everyday hook. There's plenty of them like that. There's also AE Stoney Tools LLC. You can get yourself cool custom ones like this stump ripper here with this beautiful coral snake grip on here. There's all sorts of styles and designs and several companies out there. These are just products that I purchased and use. This is not a sponsorship, so if they're listening, opportunity, just saying. But yeah, it doesn't matter what you do as long as you have several tools. They're great for moving snakes around, pushing and pulling, flipping over hides, things like that. So you're, again, keeping your fingers safe. So the 4th most important tool on the top 5 list for me is several wonderful, good, reliable snake hooks. Number 3 on the countdown of the top 5 most important tools you need to be a successful snake breeder, thermostats. Not just any thermostats, you want good, reliable thermostats. And in the thermostat world, in my experience, the more you pay, the better you get, or the more features you have. So there's lots of different companies out there like Spider Robotics or Vivarium Electronics, several others. Freedom Breeder makes their own thermostat as well. And they have all sorts of features like alarms, programmable settings for the months, night drops, ramping features. They're starting to dabble with Wi-Fi controllers nowadays. So they're essential for maintaining your heat elements at the exact set point you need them at for various species. It's added peace of mind if you're going out of town. It's just a lot of good security technologies. Our friend in this area, and it makes keeping these animals a little bit more efficient, easier on the energy bill, and a little bit safer as well. So definitely worth shelling out a little bit extra for a good piece of equipment in the thermostat realm. So number 3 on top 5 most important pieces of equipment you'll need to be a successful snake breeder, good, reliable thermostats. My 2nd most used and most important tool on the list of my top 5 to be a successful snake breeder kind of goes hand in hand with that last one in thermostats, but this one is an extra backup and will help you calibrate things, and that is a good reliable temp gun. This is an infrared temp gun. It's a point and shoot. It just shoots a little red laser beam, gives you the temperature readout. You want something with a good digital display on the back, something at an angle that you can read it from if you're shooting different temperatures around the enclosure. This allows you to calibrate your thermostats when you're setting up enclosures or racks, make sure your set point is actually what you think it is, or to adjust accordingly. And throughout the season, if you've got some questions about your snake's behavior and what you're seeing, you can take the little temperature gun out and kind of get some quantifiable data about where exactly they're sitting at, what body temperature they're running, and maybe that'll give you some inference on what they're doing and why. You never know, certain times of the year animals might be pacing, or they might be hugging the cold side a lot. Doing a double check with a simple temperature gun like this might give you a lot more insight than you never thought possible. They can save you a lot of time and headache. They only cost about 10-15 bucks. You can find great ones on Amazon, or other companies make them. But yeah, definitely get yourself one of these if you don't have one already. He supports this. He's even using it right now. He's checking on his neighbors over here. Alrighty. Number 1 on my list of the top 5 most important tools you need to be a successful snake breeder. Arguably the most important tool you can ask for. Your eyes. Now it sounds kind of cheesy, but we all have eyes to some degree. And what I mean by your eyes is that you need to spend time watching your animals, observing them, figuring out what they're doing, paying attention to them. If you're watching them at least for a little bit every single day over the course of a couple of years, you're going to pick up patterns, seasonal trends, behavioral cues, things like that. When you have a large population of animals and you start just kind of spending time observing them throughout the day, when you have time, in the evening, before feeding, after feeding, when storms roll through, other things like that, you're going to learn a lot about your animals, and that's going to give you a lot of insight into decisions to be made or not made, things like that throughout the year. If your goal is to breed, you'll get a lot of cues about where your females are at in their cycle, if the males are ready to breed, if your animals are hungry or not, things like that. It sounds pretty basic, but it's one of those things where if you watch your animals for like an hour a day for years, you would certainly become an expert. Nobody knows your animals better than you, so simply spending time and watching them with your eyes is going to be the best piece of advice I can give you. Watch your animals, observe your animals, study your animals, and not to, again, sound cliche, but become a student of the serpent. Study them, observe them, watch them. They will tell you literally everything you need to know. Alrighty, and that's my submission, threw my hat in the ring for top 5 most important tools you need to become a successful snake breeder. I'm sure there's a lot of other people who've made videos similar to this one in that vein, but I figured I hadn't done anything like this, so I'd give my 2 cents on that. Big shout out to my sponsors. You guys know who they are at this point. Reptiles Express, Heligeist Serpents, PremiumCrickets.com. Gotta love them. Look me up on Patreon.com under Riley Jimison if you want to join the family of what we got growing and going on. And much love to USARK and USARK Florida. I'll have all the links in the description below. Go become a member if you are not. And on that note, I'll catch you guys next week. Thank you for hanging tough with all the diverse videos I've been putting out a little bit before, but we're back on the carpet python content, I promise. And I'll see you guys next week for some more. Later.